Hey guys, YouTube 100 here, and yeah, as you can see, I'm not in my usual setting. Yeah, I'm not even actually at home right now. Yeah, yeah, just yeah, I've been having some personal problems that have been going on at home right now. So yeah, I've come over to my dad's. I'm staying here, and yeah, and I might be moving over here for like permanently actually. Well, yeah, well, you know what I mean when I say permanently. Like, I may actually be coming here full time. Yeah, I've just got problems going on at home, so yeah, I'm thinking that I may have to actually get out of there, and I'm probably going to be coming over here to my dad's to live. Yeah, and yeah, but yeah, hopefully, yeah, but everything that you see behind me, yeah, this won't be like how it looks like. If I come here, this place will get cleaned up, but yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I'm over here right now rather than where I actually do live. All right. So yeah, so like I told you guys before, like with SummerSlam being this weekend, I would make a couple of retro SummerSlam reviews. So here I am with one of them, and I figured since last November, or for Survivor Series, I actually did review the very first Survivor Series 1987. I figured this year I would do the same thing with SummerSlam. I would review the very first SummerSlam show. So yeah, so this is going to be a review for the very first SummerSlam in history, which is SummerSlam 1988. So yeah, so at the time that this show actually did take place, this was just the WWF's like third yearly pay per view event. Yeah, because at the time there was the only yearly pay per views were of course WrestleMania and Survivor Series, which of course did start just the previous year in 1987. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, the Royal Rumble did technically also come before this, but yeah, the first Royal Rumble was also in 1988. But yeah, of course, that wasn't an actual pay per view. That was just a special on the USA Network. So yeah, so even though the Royal Rumble did actually technically come first, SummerSlam was actually a pay per view before the Royal Rumble was. The Royal Rumble wasn't a pay per view until the following year. So, yeah, so at the time, SummerSlam was just the third yearly pay per view for the WWF. Yeah, so, yeah, so I'm sure some people will kind of see the show in a bright light. Some people will praise it, due to it being the first ever SummerSlam. It does have historical value to it in that sense, and yeah, people will kind of give it some praise for that. As a wrestling show, though, how is the actual quality? Well, it's really not a horrible show, but when you actually do look at the actual the actual quality of the matches on the show, it really just does seem to be a so-so event. I mean, because when you actually do look at the show, there really was not a whole lot that really did happen, nor were there really like that any matches that really do totally stand out or are very good. I mean, they did have good matches on here, but yeah, there's not really anything about the show that really does stand out in particular. I mean, the show is known for like a something there is one thing about the show that really does make it memorable, but but yeah, the other matches on the show they really are not really that memorable, and they really don't stand out. But there is still good stuff about the show. So yeah, so due to it being the first event, like with that historical value, I would say that probably the show is at least worth seeing once. But yeah, there really isn't anything about the show that really does totally really stand out and really does make the show itself a must see in terms of the match quality. So yeah, so that's really the best way I can put it. Worth watching once for historical, but there's not really anything about it that really does make it rewatchable. All right, so let me just talk about the card on the show. All right, so the show opened up with a tag team match. It was the British Bulldogs versus the Fabulous Rougeaus, and yeah, and there were yeah, there were several tag matches on the show. This show had four different tag team matches on the show. Yeah, and overall, this was a pretty good match right here. I mean, this was a good way to open up the show. I mean, yeah, both teams really did a battle back and forth between with each other. either there were a lot of like double team moves from both teams in the match. Of course the Rougeaus were using like a number of like dirty moves throughout the match. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, the teams just like really just like went back and forth or through here, and then eventually at one point, the Rougeaus actually like threw the Dynamite Kid it like over their heads, and he actually he, he fell down to the mat. Yeah, and then as the Dynamite Kid was like trying to really like battle back, eventually Davey Boy Smith was tagged in, yeah. And then then like I said, there were like just like a lot of the double team maneuvers from both teams throughout the match, and then as the Rougeaus were like really like getting the advantage on the British Bulldogs, as the Bulldogs were starting to battle back, after it looked like the Bulldogs actually did have an opportunity to win the match, then the time limit expired. So this match went 20 minutes, and yeah, and then the time expired before the Bulldogs could get the win, so the match ended in a time limit draw. So the match ended in a draw, but unlike the match with that Rick Rude and Jake Roberts had at WrestleMania that year, where the match ended in a time limit draw and it was just like so freaking boring, this match actually was like really entertaining to watch, and this actually was a good tag match. Yeah, and then afterwards, like the Rougeaus then like cheap shot the Bulldogs, and the Bulldogs then just like chased them to the back. So overall, this was a pretty good match right here, and I just found it like kind of strange to see that the very first match in SummerSlam history was a time limit draw. Like I just find it kind of like odd to see that the very first SummerSlam match has a distinction of ending in a draw. Yeah, but this was a really good match, and this was probably the best match of the night. I would give this match probably 3.5 stars. Then next up, then we had Bad News Brown versus Ken Patera, and and right here, like this is kind of like where like this show really does like show its really lack of like in ring quality, because a lot of the other most of the rest of the matches really are not really that good, or there's nothing about them that really does stand out. And this match really is an example of that, because this match lasted like 6.5 minutes, and it was like really boring. I really don't remember anything from this match. Like it was just like really boring action between the two of them. It lasted like 6.5 minutes, and then like a Bad News Brown ended up getting the win after he hit Ken Patera in the back of the head with the Ghetto Blaster, and then he got the pin. So Bad News Brown gets the win. So I really don't remember anything from the match, and it really was not good. I give that match like 1 star. Then next up after this, then we had Ravishing Rick Rude versus the Junkyard Dog, and this was another really bad match. I mean, once again, just this match lasted like 6 minutes, and just I don't remember anything from it. Just it was so boring. I mean, I just for a good majority of the match, like just Rick Rude like just like had a rest hold on the Junkyard Dog for which seemed like forever. I mean, what was Rick Rude's obsession with just like sleeper holds and rest holds and all that? Like he would just use this all the time. He did it at WrestleMania 4 with Jake Roberts, and then he did it again here. So this really was just like a whole bunch of rest holds from Rick Rude, and then Junkyard Dog then made a comeback, and then as like Rick Rude then at one point, as he like went to the top rope and then like pulled down his tights and showed a picture of Cheryl Roberts. Then and Cheryl Roberts was of course Jake the Snake Roberts' wife. And then after like that, then Jake the Snake then just ran out and attacked Rick Rude, and then as a result of that, Junkyard Dog got disqualified, and Rick Rude won by disqualification. And this really wasn't a good match. It was boring, and plus, Jake the Snake pretty much just screwed Junkyard Dog by interfering like that. So yeah, so this match was just bad too. I give that like I don't know a star and a quarter. Then next up after this, then we did get a decent match. Then next up was another tag match. It was the Bolsheviks versus the Powers of Pain, and overall this was a decent match right here. Yeah, I mean, it was like a decently paced. Yeah, and yeah, it was just kind of like back and forth between both teams, and then yeah, then and yeah, it, it just went like back and forth. Like the Powers of Pain at the time, Barbarian and Warlord, like they were like faces who had just come to the WWF recently, and and yeah, then and yeah, it was an all right match. Yeah, I mean the yeah yeah, it just kind of like go back and forth. Not really anything too memorable happened, but yeah, it was still overall like decent. Decent, yeah. And then yeah, then at one point the as like a Slick was trying to distract the Powers of Pain, then like the Bolsheviks then got the upper hand, but eventually then the Powers of Pain battled back, and then yeah, um then Barbarian eventually then got the upper hand on Zukov, and and yeah, then Zukov was then slammed to the mat and then headbutted from the top rope, and then yeah, that allowed Barbarian to pin up Boris Zukov, and then yeah, the Powers of Pain got the win. So yeah, so overall it was a decent match. Not really anything memorable about it, but overall it was a decent time match. So I would give that probably 2 stars. Yeah. Then next up, then after this, then we got kind of like a useless segment where like it was like a Brother Love segment where like Brother Love was like interviewing a Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and yeah, he was just like trying to give Hacksaw Jim Duggan a lesson about like love and all that, and then yeah, it was basically just and then Hacksaw Jim Duggan just like punked Brother Love out, and then yeah, just like scared him out of the ring. So yeah, so this really was just like, what was the point of this? Like, this really just like took away time from matches, but at least it didn't really go too long. So yeah, so I guess I really can't complain too much that it took a whole lot of time away. Yeah. And then next up, then we got like probably what this show really is most well known for. Next up, like next up was supposed to be an Intercontinental title match with the Honky Tonk Man defending against Brutus the Barber Beefcake. But yeah, they did an angle where like Brutus the Barber Beefcake got injured after like a recent attack on at a previous event. And so yeah, so Brutus the Barber Beefcake was unable to compete due to injury, but the Honky Tonk Man was just saying how he wanted like the WWF to just give him another opponent, anybody at all. Oh, so yeah, so the Honky Tonk Man then came out to the ring, and then he was just like saying to give him somebody, and it turned out that that somebody to challenge him was of course the Ultimate Warrior. So yeah, so the Ultimate Warrior came down, and then of course like the Ultimate Warrior made really quick work of the Honky Tonk Man, and yeah, Ultimate Warrior won the Intercontinental title, and it ended the longest Intercontinental title reign in history from the Honky Tonk Man. So yeah, so the Ultimate Warrior became the Intercontinental Champion, and of course this really did like was the start of like the Warriors' big push, because yeah, of course like Ultimate Warrior would like hold the title up until WrestleMania, and, where he lost to Trick Root and then regained it the next year at SummerSlam, and then of course like it would again hold it until WrestleMania 6 when when he won the WWF title from Hulk Hogan and vacated the Intercontinental title. So yeah, so this was sorry, got something in my throat for a second. Yeah, but yeah, this was the start of like Warrior's big push in the company. So yeah, so this match does at least have that distinction, even though it is a squash. So yeah, so I'm not going to be rating this because it really doesn't make sense to rate it since it was just like a 30-second match. But yeah, it was like, of course, memorable and probably what this SummerSlam is most well known for. Yeah, and then next up, then we had Don Morocco versus Dino Bravo. And yeah, this was actually a surprisingly decent match right here. I mean, this was definitely much better than the match they had at WrestleMania 4. I mean, Don Morocco was actually like in the swing of things in this match, unlike how off he was in the match at WrestleMania 4. Yeah, and this was actually a pretty surprisingly decent match right here. Yeah, Don Morocco was like in control for most of the match, and then as then at one point, as Frenchie Martin then tried to get involved in the match, Don Morocco went after him, and then yeah, then as Dino Bravo then was like starting to get the upper hand on Dino Bravo, I mean Don Morocco, sorry. Yeah, then it just like kind of went back and forth for a little bit, and then as then at one point then the match then just ended when like Don Morocco, as he was like distracted by Frenchie Martin, Dino Bravo then just used like a side suplex on Don Morocco and was able to pin him. So like out, so the match just like ended kind of abruptly, but yeah, it was a surprisingly decent match. I mean, yeah, definitely a huge step up from their WrestleMania 4 match, as I said. Yeah, and given that Dino Bravo really wasn't that good, especially like the matches of his that I've seen, yeah, this is probably like one of his better matches. So yeah, so it does at least have that distinction, and it was actually a surprisingly decent match. So I would give this probably 2.5 stars. Yeah, and then next up, then we had the tag team titles on the line. It was Demolition defending against the Hart Foundation, and yeah, and this was a pretty good match right here too. Yeah, yeah, you had like both Mr. Fuji and Jimmy Hart in Demolition's corner. Yeah, this was just recently after Jimmy Hart had turned on the Hart Foundation. Yeah, and then this was a pretty good match right here. Now the Hart Foundation really really do very well against Demolition here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just like the opening match, like both teams really did go back and forth. Or if like the Hart Foundation had an early advantage on Demolition, and then Demolition was getting the upper hand, and at one point, Bret Hart had his shoulder just thrown into the turnbuckle, and then that also ended up breaking Mr. Fuji's cane that was placed there as the referee wasn't looking. Yeah, and then after that, Demolition was then just working over Bret Hart's shoulder for a good portion of the match as Bret Hart was legal, and then eventually then as Jimmy Hart was trying to get involved in the match, Jim Neidhart then just chased Jimmy Hart away from ringside. Yeah, and then then as all four guys were fighting on the inside of the ring, as Jim Neidhart then tried to go after Mr. Fuji, who was on the ring apron. Just and yeah, as when I'm on this subject, how much damage can Mr. Fuji take? Jim Neidhart was just giving punching Mr. Fuji several times, and Mr. Fuji stayed on the ring apron. I mean, wouldn't you think that he would fall off after the first or second punch? But yeah, there was several punches that Jim Neidhart threw at Mr. Fuji, and Mr. Fuji stayed on the apron for a good portion of them. Yeah, and yeah, then as the referee was also distracted with it, trying to get Mr. Fuji off the apron, and as Bret Hart was trying to go for a pile driver on Smash, Axe then hit Bret Hart in the back of the head with Jimmy Hart's megaphone, and then that allowed Smash to pin Bret Hart and get the win. So yeah, Demolition retained the titles. So yeah, so overall this was a pretty good match right here. But of course, they had a 2 out of 3 falls match 2 years later at SummerSlam that was of course much better. So so when you do compare it to that match, this match really doesn't compare. But yeah, this is still overall a pretty good match. So I would probably give this match about 3.25. Yeah. Yeah. Then after this, then we had the Big Boss Man versus Coco Beware, and this was a decent too. I mean, not really a whole lot happened here. I mean, it was really just kind of seemed to be kind of a bigger guy versus smaller guy match. Yeah, because you know, yeah, because there was like times where like the where a Coco Beware was really just like outquicking the Big Boss Man and stuff, and then there were times where like as a Coco Beware was like going for a cover on the Big Boss Man. The Big Boss Man kicked out easily and just threw Coco Beware off like a rag doll. Yeah, and of course, like you had Slick at ringside with the Big Boss Man, and yeah, Slick of course was like causing distractions throughout the match, and then yeah, then like when at one point as the Big Boss Man actually did have the match won, he refused to pin him, and he just like continued to punish Coco Beware. Or, yeah, and then as Coco Beware then like was trying to um battle back, as he like hit several drop kicks on the Big Boss Man. The Big Boss Man was able to survive it. And then, yeah, then, then the Big Boss Man then eventually then just slammed Coco Beware to the mat and then pinned him. So yeah, the Big Boss Man got the win. So yeah, so this match was pretty short. It was only once again like 6 minutes. But overall, like for the time it lasted, it was a pretty decent match. So I guess I would give this probably like a 2.5 stars. So yeah, so as you can see, like a lot of the matches on the show were like pretty short. Like that's really like one of the reasons why I'm really like not really like talking like a great length about a lot of the matches, just because a lot of them were like pretty short. So there really is not like a whole lot to really talk about with a lot of these matches. But I'm really doing the best I can to talk about them as well as I can. And yeah, but overall, yeah, this match still was a pretty decent match. All right. Then next up, then we had Jake the Snake Roberts versus Hercules, and yeah, this wasn't good. Yeah, I mean, this was just another pretty boring match right here. I mean, these guys overall like were like they were like relatively good competitors, but yeah, this match just this wasn't good. I mean, I don't know what went wrong with this match. I mean, I guess like there was just something about just the chemistry between these two, which they just didn't click well together. So yeah, so this match overall was just like really boring. I mean, given like what happened like with Jake interfering in the Rube Junkyard Dog match, I mean, shouldn't this have just been a match between Rick Rude and Jake Roberts again? So yeah, so I'm not really sure like why they had Hercules be Jake's opponent in this match. But yeah, and so yeah, and really just this match was pretty boring and not really anything memorable happened here. Just yeah, at one point as Jake tried to hit Hercules with the DDT, Hercules was able to escape and then like was able to like gain the upper hand in the match. And then as Hercules was attempting to uh, slam Jake to the mat, Jake was able to reverse it and hit a DDT. And yeah, Jake was able to get the pin on Hercules and win. So yeah, so this match lasted like 10 minutes, but really just it was really boring and not really anything memorable in this match happened. So yeah, not really a good match. So I would give that probably like I don't know, a star and a half. Yeah, and then we got the main event, and in the fourth tag team match of the night, it was the Mega Powers, which were of course Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage, versus the Mega Bucks, which were Ted DiBiase and Andre the Giant. So yeah, so like a continuation from like the events that occurred like with like Hulk Hogan, Andre, and DiBiase like early in the year, like with like them screwing Hulk Hogan out of the title, and of course like WrestleMania 4 with like Macho Man and defeating Ted DiBiase in the tournament final to win the title, and both Hulk Hogan and Andre being involved in that match as well. So yeah, so this was like a continuation of all of that stuff, and this was really like where it all culminated. Yeah, and overall, yeah, this was a pretty good match right here. Yeah, and plus also in this match you did have Jesse Ventura as the guest referee. So yeah, Jesse Ventura like main evented the main event of SummerSlam twice with this match, and of course like 11 years later at SummerSlam 1999, which I talked about last year. So yeah, interesting to see like Jesse Ventura be the referee in the main event of SummerSlam twice. Yeah. So I'm sure like a lot of people were probably really expecting Jesse Ventura to really be biased towards the Mega Bucks in this match, but yeah, Jesse Ventura actually did call it right down the middle. Yeah, I found it kind of like strange that for some reason Jesse Ventura, like with those like those tag ropes that were like in the corners of the ring, Jesse Ventura like moved them to a different corner. So I'm not exactly sure why he did that. Yeah, but yeah, this match overall, it was overall a pretty good match. Like, obviously you did have a Virgil along with a Bobby Heenan in the Mega Bucks' corner, and of course you did have Miss Elizabeth in the Mega Powers corner. Yeah, and plus, yeah, I also found it like kind of interesting that like the Mega Powers came out to just Macho Man's music. They didn't have like separate entrances, or you would expect them to come out to Hulk Hogan's music, but no, they came out to Macho Man's music, which I found kind of interesting. Yeah, but anyway, okay, let me talk about the match. Yeah, this really was a really good match. I mean, it really was like a really good back and forth match. Match like, I'm sure like this was something people were probably expecting. Who were like Mega Bucks would like be pretty dominant throughout the match, and then like the Mega Powers would like make a comeback at the end and win. But no, that's not really how it went down. Like, yeah, it really did go back and forth with both teams between both teams throughout the match. Like the Mega Powers actually did get like a good amount of offense in the match, and the Mega Bucks got a good amount of offense in the match. And yeah, and plus, yeah, there were even like double team moves from both teams. Like at one point, as Hulk Hogan was going at Ted DiBiase, like as Macho Man was like on the ring apron, like Hulk Hogan and Macho Man then just like exchange blows on Ted DiBiase. Yeah, and of course, the Mega Bucks also did use like some double team moves in the match too, even some illegal ones at points. Yeah, there was a point where like as Jesse Ventura was like distracted, Andre was actually like choking Hulk Hogan out, or attempting to. Yeah, yeah. And then at one point, like as I think it was like Andre was on the ring apron. Randy Savage tried to go after him, but Randy Savage was unable to succeed, and Andre actually nailed him. Yeah. Then, as like all four guys were just dominating, then eventually Hulk Hogan and Macho Man then were just like knocked to the outside of the ring, and then and 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 Bobby Heenan and Virgil like got up onto the ring apron, as did Miss Elizabeth, and then as Miss Elizabeth started arguing with Jesse Ventura, then uh, uh, Miss Elizabeth then just like ripped her skirt off, and then yeah, that like just distracted the Mega Bucks as well as Virgil and Bobby Heenan, and then that allowed Hulk Hogan and a Macho Man to really come back in and take out the Mega Bucks, and then yeah, then they disposed of Andre to the outside, and then Macho Man hit the flying elbow on Ted DiBiase, and Hulk Hogan hit the leg drop, and then Hulk Hogan pinned Ted DiBiase, and so the Mega Powers got the win. So yeah, and of course, like this was like stuff to really like lead up to like what would occur at WrestleMania 5. Just like this was just like this like stuff like really just like setting it all up, because yeah, you just like had all this stuff with like Hulk Hogan and Macho Man just teaming up. Like there was here at SummerSlam, and then and at Survivor Series, and then yeah, then like over time, like there was like some tension going on between the two of them in their partnership, with like Hulk Hogan like really like celebrating with Miss Elizabeth, and Macho Man not liking that, just being like overprotective and everything. And yeah, then yeah, you just like had all the story like building up leading into like WrestleMania 5 the following year with Hulk Hogan and Macho Man. So yeah, so this really did a good job of really like just helping to really advance that, and you even got a little glimpse of it here with like Macho Man really like kind of like eyeing Hulk Hogan and stuff, with like Hulk Hogan like celebrating with Miss Elizabeth, like hoisting her in the air and like handling her skirt and all that stuff. Yeah. So yeah. So not really anything. There was not really like any like true tension here just yet. That wouldn't occur until like later on, like until like the in February of 1989, where you actually did have like tension here, tension between these two. But yeah, throughout the like years, like you could like see it like really building up with like just like Macho Man like always looking at Hulk Hogan, kind of like getting like kind of like glimpses of like what was to come between the two of them. So yeah, so this really did a good job of really helping to really set that up. Yeah, but yeah, overall, yeah, this was still overall a pretty good match, and I really did enjoy it. So I would give that probably a 3.25. Yeah. So overall with the show, I guess I would give it probably a 6 out of 10. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, a lot of people will probably hold this in a good regard due to it being the first SummerSlam, having that historical value to it. But when you actually look at it as a wrestling show, it really is just kind of like so-so. I mean, there are some good matches on here, but not really anything about it in particular that really does stand out. I mean, yeah. I mean, Warriors burial of Honky Tonk Mirror for the Intercontinental title, like I said, is probably going to be like what the show really is most well known for. But it still just has some good matches, like the opener and the main event, and some matches sprinkled throughout the show. So yeah. So overall, like I would say the show is at least worth a watch once for that historical value to it. But yeah, there's not really any like rewatch quality to it. So yeah, so I guess like for historical values, I would say the show is at least worth a watch once. All right. So yeah, so I guess that's the best I can put it. All right, so I guess that's all I can really say about the show. All right, so this is from my review of SummerSlam 1988. So I hope you guys did enjoy this review, and yeah, and like I said, there is like another SummerSlam event that I want to talk about as well. So yeah, so I'll probably like have a review for that coming either tomorrow or the day after. So stay tuned for that. All right, but I hope you guys enjoyed this review. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.